Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bull, and welcome back once again to an episode of Bulldrek. Once again, as always, this has been brought to you by the wonderful patrons at my Patreon campaign. If you're interested in checking it out and helping possibly support my creation of more videos along these lines, as well as my creative writing efforts, please check out the link in the description below. Alright, so I've been having some issues with my computer. I'm actually back on my laptop. I think I may have gotten it working a little bit. But as you may notice, I'm actually using the laptop's default camera right now because I'm having some issues getting the other one working. So, yeah. Seriously, I have major gremlins, apparently, when it comes to electronic devices, and it's really frustrating some weeks. So, anyways, this week, I finally got a chance to see Deadpool the other day. Yay! I've been wanting to see it since it came out. I'm not a huge fan of the character. I really disliked the character when he first was introduced. And I think that kind of was a holdover for me because, like, I refused to read his comic or anything like that for a long, long time. But eventually I kind of came around, and I've become a little bit more of a fan of the character, and his the breaking the fourth wall and his comedy shtick and everything works better for me these days. So it was kind of a slow thing. I'm not going to say that, oh, I've been a huge fan of this character for many, many, many years, because I haven't. It's really only been the less than 10 years, less than a decade since I've really started enjoying the character. He's still not one of my favorite characters. I think he gets a little overdone, a little overused, but he's not bad. But I was looking forward to the movie because, I like Ryan Reynolds. I think he's a fun actor. I enjoy his comedic timing and his comedic delivery. And I also was really interested because this was supposed to be a comic book movie that was going to be really faithful to the source material, like even more so than the Marvel movies to some extent. And of course, by Marvel movies, I mean the Marvel produced movies, as opposed to the stuff owned by Fox and Sony. And considering the way Fox has been pretty well screwing up Fantastic Four pretty steadily, and I am kind of hit and miss on the X-Men stuff. Some of it's been okay, some of it's been I'm kind of on those. I would really love to see the X-Men go back to Marvel full time, but for the time being, Deadpool at least was an outstanding effort. He was really faithful to the comic, at least the current comic version of Deadpool. It incorporated a lot of Deadpool's supporting cast and stuff like that from over the years. A lot of nice little Easter eggs in the movie. Overall, like I said, I ended up really enjoying it. I was surprised because I was expecting the movie... A lot of to-do was made about the R rating, and it was well earned. This was definitely an R-rated movie from top to bottom. That said, though, I mean, I saw a lot of people expressing, oh, wow, this is really R-rated, and holy crap, I can't believe they did that. And I ended up being really surprised because at no point during the movie did they do something that I went, I can't believe they did that. There was nothing that shocked me. There was nothing that made me kind of go, whoa, maybe that was a little too much. And I've seen movies that have done that, especially movies with humor. Ryan Reynolds' Van Wilder, the uncut edition of Van Wilder, had a few scenes in it that were like, okay, maybe that was a little much. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with this level of what you just did. It never really pushed it that far, I don't think. But at the same time, it's still, like I said, still definitely earned its R rating. And there was definitely a decent amount of definitely a decent amount of killing, but there wasn't particularly a lot of gore. Also, something I wasn't expecting. I figured as much as Deadpool would be shooting people and lopping off limbs with his swords, I figured there would be more blood and more, just general mayhem, and there really wasn't. It was pretty subdued, all things considered. Um, so, like I said, overall, I was kind of surprised because the movie was not as, I mean, I've seen worse from like Rambo movies, and I've seen worse from your average horror movie, as far as the blood and deaths and stuff goes. Um, really, it wasn't bad at all. So, I still wouldn't say take kids to see it. This is not a kids movie. It is still definitely that R rating, but yeah, like I said, I was a little surprised by that. The movie itself, the pacing was done really well, I think. They did some really cool visual shots, especially some interesting like things with like freeze frames and stuff, where they would kind of pan around the frozen frame and whatever. They did a really good job of cutting back and forth from present day action to flashbacks. Um, I will say my one disappointment, I think, though, is that with as much promotion as they did of the movie, honestly, I think we saw most of it. I think if you went back and watched all the previews, all the trailers, all the little snippets they've done that they did during their entire run of the previewing, teasing the movie, I think that you probably got most of the movie, or a fair amount of it. So I think my one disappointment was watching through the movie. There was no real point in the movie where I was surprised. There was no real point in the movie where I went, oh, I didn't realize they were going to do this, because it either was something I'd already seen from the trailers and the previews, or it was something that was very expected, or very, it was a natural progression of the storytelling, and it was just something that it was natural, and it fit, and it was where I would have gone if I was writing it. So, I don't know. Make of that what you will, I guess. I mean, it doesn't take away from the movie at all. I was especially when I realized I wasn't going to be able to see the movie in the theaters right away, and then just things kept coming up, and I wasn't able to go see it and go see it and go see it. Um, I ended up watching a lot of the previews and trailers and stuff because I wanted to get more out of it. Plus, I watched a few reviews and stuff. So, like I said, I mean, there was no real surprise, but a lot of that's on me as well for basically spoiling myself. I kind of went the opposite direction with Force Awakens and made it a point not to watch, outside of the first couple of trailers, I made it a point not to watch anything else. I didn't watch any trailers, I didn't read any reviews, anybody said anything about the movie, and I immediately, skipped past it. And I kind of went the other way with this, so that's kind of on me. Um, I think it was promoted partially as a love story, and I think that's also accurate to some degree. A little weird for a love story, but this is Deadpool we're talking about. So I think a lot of that worked pretty well. I was pretty impressed with it, and like I said, I think they were smart because they managed to intersperse bits of the romance and the drama and the backstory and all that stuff in with action and other stuff going on. Plus, the entire thing is laced with humor, which also helps a lot. The characters were fun. Deadpool, like I said, Deadpool was just fantastic. I was really surprised by Colossus, actually, because he kind of seemed to be largely a non-entity in the trailers. I mean, he was there, but you kind of got the impression he was more there just to kind of as like silent backup and as a kind of as a joke or a punching bag. Especially with the scene with Angel Dust that you saw in the trailers a lot, where he goes up to fight her and she just knocks him away casually. So you kind of got the impression that he was going to be kind of just this one-note joke, but instead he ends up actually having a sizable part in the movie, which, like I said, surprised me quite a bit. And on top of that, he was fairly talky. Um, they did an interesting thing with his character because he's very much this like heroes can be or people can be redeemed and people can be heroes character. Um, it was actually almost funny because he just kept wanting, he's like he keeps wanting to recruit Deadpool to the X-Men because he thinks Deadpool can become a hero, and he keeps trying to give Deadpool these pep talks and stuff, and Deadpool's just having none of it. So it was really funny, and it was a fun dynamic. And Deadpool and Colossus actually gives one of the best anybody can be a hero speeches I've ever seen on screen. And like I said, I was kind of just really surprised and kind of blown away by it. I was really pleased with that. I think they did a really good job with it. The CGI for Colossus was a little iffy in places, but whatever. I'm not going to judge a movie on that too much. Um, Especially knowing the limited budget that this movie had. Um, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, which is a character as familiar as I am with Marvel Comics, that is a character I don't know. I've never seen her in the comics. I don't know anything about her counterpart. Um, in the movie, I was actually a little disappointed by her character because she seemed to be a little more prominent in the trailers. You kind of got the feeling that Colossus was there to be the big name, but also kind of the joke of the punching bag, where she was going to kind of become a little more integral and a little bit more of a badass. And she was, but at the same time, she is a quiet character. The scene you saw in a lot of the trailers where she's on her phone, and Deadpool's trying to get her to go fight, and she's like, "Oh, hold on, well, in a minute." Um, yeah, that's kind of her character throughout. I mean, and Deadpool gets a lot of good one-liners based on it. Um, there's some fun. I won't say back and forth because it's pretty much all Deadpool lobbing at her, making jokes at her expense. But at the same time, it really works and it plays well. But like I said, I was expecting her character to be a little more active. The bad guys were kind of fun, although we didn't really get a ton out of them. Even the main bad guy, Ajax, Francis. And I'm really disappointed they didn't go with a Stripes reference there. But even Francis got a little bit of characterization and stuff, but Angel Dust didn't really. Um, so the bad guys were kind of a little one dimensional, I think. Um, I'll be completely honest. The helicarrier bit, spoilers. the At the very end, they're fighting on what ends up being a crashed helicarrier. Possibly one of the helicarriers that crashed after Captain America: Winter Soldier, and I believe that was kind of the intention. It's never explicitly called out as as a helicarrier, and because it's wrecked enough, it's not entirely obvious. And honestly, had somebody not said that, I probably would have assumed they were fighting on a decommissioned aircraft carrier instead. And granted, there's kind of a fine line between the two, but I probably wouldn't have picked up on the fact that it was a helicarrier. Which is probably also why they were able to get away with doing that. But it was still fun. I think that was a great little Easter egg. I think it's a shame there weren't a couple of more X-Men cameos in the movie. But it's, again, the budget and everything, it's understandable. Um, like I said, though, I think they did a great job with it. I think it was a lot of fun. The humor was just fantastic. I really enjoyed the movie. I really think it was worthwhile, and I think it earns all the accolades and all the positive reviews that it got. And I'm glad that it did gangbusters at the box office. So yeah, definitely 2 thumbs up. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Um, Beats the hell out of anything I've seen out of DC's film in ages. Sorry, DC. Sorry, DC fans. You know my opinion. Can't help it. Um, I don't think it's the strongest movie that's been done. I think Marvel's still. I think most of Marvel stuff is still largely stronger. Um, I do kind of wish that Daredevil. I do kind of wish that Deadpool was in the Marvel universe so that we could do a little bit of crossover stuff there. But then again, I kind of wish all the Marvel properties were back over there and that Marvel kind of had carte blanche to just really go nuts and play with things, because I think they would have a lot of fun, and I think that would be a lot of potential with storytelling and stuff. But yeah, this is going to be a shorter one because this was just a review this week. But thanks for watching. Like I said, if you haven't seen Deadpool, I believe it comes out on video here soon. So definitely check it out when it comes out on video if you can. If it's still playing in theaters, go see it in theaters, because this is a big budget action movie, and you want to see big budget action movies on the big screen. That's all there is to it. So yeah, thank you. Appreciate you watching. If you, again, check out the Patreon link in the description below if you're interested in seeing more videos along these lines. Click the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to check out the rest of my videos. And until next time, have a good one.